Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I wanted to show you guys how to make my favorite dish ever, and that is fried pumpkin. Now fried pumpkin to me is the best thing to eat with roti, and it's been my favorite ever since I was a little kid, and it still is. So I have a piece of pumpkin here. I know this might be hard to find here in Florida for me or for other people depending on where you live. I bought this while I was in New York. So if you cannot find this, I always use butternut squash as a substitute when I don't have this. But since I have this today, I'm going to make use of it. So what you want to do first is you want to slice the piece of pumpkin into more manageable pieces. I'm just running my knife through it right here. You want to just slice it. Next thing you want to do is you want to take a small knife or a paring knife, and you want to run it through the middle to get all of the seeds and the guts that may be left inside of this piece of pumpkin. Now what you want to do is you want to go in with your same knife and you want to peel the pumpkin out. And now that we slice it into these thinner slices, they're much easier to get through with the knife. As you guys can see, this pumpkin is not too hard, like the skin is not too hard for me to get through. It's pretty easy. If you guys were using the butternut squash, I know that skin is a little more tough and hard to get through. So you just want to really be careful during this part especially, so this way you don't cut yourself. I really don't recommend that you use a peeler for this either, because the skin is so tough that it might not go through the pumpkin. So now that I've peeled my piece of pumpkin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my larger knife and then I'm going to go ahead and start slicing the pumpkin. So you're going to get these nice, thin, longish pieces. And you might be thinking that they look pretty big, but this type of pumpkin cooks very fast and it melts away very fast. So these pieces will do just fine. So once I'm done cutting it up, I want to put it in a bowl with some cool water and have it waiting while I'm cutting up the rest of my pumpkin before I'm ready to cook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up the rest of my pumpkin here, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when we're ready to start cooking it now. So I peeled and I cut my pumpkin and I washed it and I left it in some water here. And then what I have here is I have some oil that I've fried some onions and some scallions inside. And you want this to be on a high heat so it can start frying nicely. You just want to fry these onions and scallions for about a minute or just until they start to get nice and brown. I also wanted to let you guys know that I'll be using some ground jeera and some hot pepper and some salt to taste. Now, I really like my food spicy, especially pumpkin, but if you do not want it spicy, feel free to omit the pepper or lessen the amount of pepper. So I'm seeing that my onions and my scallions are nice and golden. What I want to do next is I want to add in my ground jeera and I want to add in my hot pepper. I'm going to give that a stir. And you want to stir this around until the jeera gets nice and fragrant in the pot. So now that I've had that stirred in, I want to add in all of my pumpkin. You don't want to get all of that extra water in. So I'm just grabbing a little at a time. And then at this point also I want to add in a good amount of salt. And then you want to give this a good stir. And I get the pumpkin nice and coated in all of the onions and the jeera and the oil, so this way it can fry nicely. So at this point what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to leave your stove on a high heat for about 10 minutes with this pumpkin uncovered. Now I'm leaving it uncovered because once I emptied it into here there was some water. And this pumpkin, this type of pumpkin, tends to be watery in itself. So I want to leave it open on a high heat so some of this water can start burning out. And at that point we can cover it and let it finish cooking. So I'm going to show you what this looks like after 10 minutes. I've had my pumpkin cooking here for 10 minutes on a high heat, so this way some of that water could start burning off. And it's nice and it's dried down. So I've lowered my heat to a medium-low heat now, because now I want this pumpkin to boil and cook now. So in order for it to not dry out too much or start to burn and stick, what I did is I'm adding a little bit of water, just a little so it's not too watery. You want to give that a stir. And then I'm going to cover this and let it cook on a medium-low heat for about 20 more minutes, or just until the pumpkin gets nice and soft. I've had my pumpkin cooking for about 20 minutes with the cover on a medium-low heat, and I was not kidding when I told you guys that this pumpkin cooks very fast. It cooked within 20 minutes, and all the pieces are nice and melted away. And you also want to make sure you give this a taste for salt. I already tasted it, and it's perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dish it up and show you guys what the final product looks like. And here it is, everyone, my finished pumpkin. It's all served up here and ready to eat. I really do hope you guys try this recipe, as it's one of my favorites, and I'm sure it'll be one of you guys' favorites too if you try it. I really hope you also enjoyed cooking with me in the kitchen today. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below on what you would like to see me make next. Thanks for watching, guys.